Why do you
Mhm.
think that you were like so okay with going to the back at that point? Do you think it was just simply that you had the okay to do it, or do you think it was several factors?
Yeah, I think, obviously I looked up to you, right? And here is my coach, this guy who's taken me pretty far in my career. I've known for I think 7 years at that point, who's like, "Hey Jeff, you're right there, but this is what you're missing." And it just connected. I
Mhm.
think also it was an ego and arrogance thing, right? Because my style had taken me pretty far. Like I'd gotten to brown belt and I was pretty competitive. I was pretty
Mhm.
I was doing well against other brown belts, other black belts. I felt very comfortable. But I knew all along I was a top guy and I wasn't that well versed in the bottom. And just the timing of everything and you saying what you said to me in that very moment, it was like the key that just unlocked the door.
Mhm.
And from then on, I just stopped being concerned about winning practice, and I was more focused on being a good partner and developing my skill set and listening to my coach. So it really completely transformed my mindset in jujitsu, and I'm very thankful for that.
Well, and then what was interesting was you ran with it, and then it was, like a year later, I remember you were, out and about or, doing a tournament or something, and you pulled guard on a person and then submitted them from your back. And I think that was like your first time ever pulling guard in a tournament. And it was like, oh man, look at this. Like, I went from being this top player, and then a year later, now I'm pulling guard on someone and I'm submitting them. It's like
Yeah.
kind of, you have a new aspect of your game.
Yeah.
What was like the process? So like you're like, all right, I gotta develop this new part of my game. What was your process going into it? Like how did you start to develop? How did you start to play? What did you do initially? So this could go for anybody that's trying to add layers to their game. Like what did you start to do?
Well, I think anytime you want to add something to your game, you've got to put yourself in the position to be able to use it. So I wanted to work a couple of half guard sweeps, and I had these in my arsenal, but I never really used them because I
Mhm.
never let myself go to the back.
Yeah.
Um, but I started intentionally putting myself on bottom. I would just sit guard. I can't pull. I can't. I don't have any good guard pulls. I'll just sit guard. I'll just walk up. I'll touch you. I'll sit down, and I'll just work from there. Or I'll just let people start on top. And if I would hit that sweep, I would say, all right, let's reset. And I'd go and do it again. And then I'd go and do it again. So I was not only getting those reps in drilling, but also in live rolls. If I hit the sweep, I didn't stay on top and finish from the top. I went back to the bottom and said, let's start again.
Positional drilling, positional sparring. I mean, that's like I think that seems like a recurrent theme, Chewy. What do you think?
Of
For getting
course.
better.
Well,
Yeah,
time and position, right? And
100%.
so, and the thing about like, so Jeff, like, there's a video of that I have online, and it basically the title is something like "Training twice a week is a waste of time," because
Mhm.
that's what the guy in the message said sent to me. And of course, I explained that it's not a waste of time. It just depends on how you use it. A lot of times you can come into training and you can train like 5 days a week and just kind of like not be very mentally involved, and you'll get okay, you'll get some progress from it. But you could train less and be very focused on what you're actually doing and get a lot more from that training. And I think that's one of the things, like when I made that video, I remember I was saying I had students that do that, and Jeff was one of the guys that was thinking about it, where he comes into the gym, he actually has something he's working on, right? A lot of people can come into the gym and like, I'm just here, opposed to like, I'm trying to work on this technique, I'm trying to ham sandwich everyone, right? Or whatever the technique is. It's really useful to do that. And that's like one of the things where I think, he's continued to progress, even though he's not necessarily training like every single day a week. Because I think a lot of times people have this misconception that you can't make progress in jiu-jitsu if you're not training like a world champion or something like that. You can make plenty of progress for yourself. You might not be that like world champion or whatever, but that's fine. You have other aspects of your life that you're working on, but you can still make progress. And I think one of the things is like situational rolling is nothing more than simply forcing yourself to focus on a particular area and not giving yourself the option to then just go back to whatever else that you would normally like to do. Because what happens is we all like to play the games that we're good at. And so you might play the game that, you're a little weaker at. And then all of a sudden, if you're just doing a full roll, you can easily revert back to, all right, I'm going back to whatever I feel comfortable with. Opposed to if we just do the situational, we kind of force ourselves into that little space and get some time and some quality time in that position. And, if you really think about it, if a person's playing a song, right? Like if they're playing like some musical instrument, and they're playing the song. If they really suck at this one specific part of the song, would it be better to play the whole song all the way through over and over again? Or would it maybe be advantageous from time to time to say, let's just focus on this one little section of the song and let's get some practice with this, since this is where our hangup is?